Morjesta. My name is Aniski. It has been quite some time since I last uploaded, but recently one of the most celebrated, one of the most hyped titles that has been made, Hentai Prison, got localized in English. And obviously I was really eager to then give it a go. And now that I have read through large chunks of it, I have some thoughts that I would like to share. Because I feel like my opinions differ quite a bit from the median on this one. A lot of people have really put this on the same pedestal as kamiges or great titles, 9s or 10s, a modern classic and whatnot, but for my money, Hentai Prison is not a kamige. Hentai Prison is not a great visual novel, it's not even a really good visual novel. From the 80 or so titles that I've read through, I would quite confidently rate this for the lowest third of them. It's a visual novel where the entire cast is paper thin. The story happens at a snail's pace for the common route, which drags out for way too long. The setting, which to be fair is quite cool, is used more for light jokes than serious drama, and they don't mesh together at all and kinda just drag each other down. When we're talking about kamiges, really it's the pinnacle of what this medium has to offer, an extremely solid title that, more often than not, I would say, does something better than anything else that the medium has to offer. Muramasa has excellent mecha action coupled with an engaging story, a varied, a funny cast, great production, and really, it's hard to find any faults from that game. Totono goes all in on one specific thing and just nails the landing better than anything else that explores it. The entire visual novel is built to serve that purpose, and it does so better and with more thought than any other title. And it's a pretty popular direction for media to go, I feel like, in the recent years, especially on from Western developers. There have been quite a few attempts at mimicking it, but nothing even really has come close to what Totono managed to achieve. Hentai Prison is really far away from all of this. Maybe I would start from the premise or the setting of the visual novel, because it is a unique one, and I have to give credits because I feel like way more visual novels than what's necessary are using, the Japanese high school setting. So it kind of feels like anything that deviates from that is fresh. But, even in traditional literature, a prison setting is rather unique, especially a prison that's made specially for sex offenders in a remote island, which results in kinda an entirely new society that's completely differentiated from the rest of the world with their own rules and hierarchies. But the Hentai Prison doesn't really manage to take advantage of the setting. It starts off with this very serious tone, The place is presented as, being hell on earth with these very extremely harsh daily routines and failure to comply leading to punishments that are quite terrifying, and the guards really hate the inmates and are doing everything in their power to make their lives miserable, and then there are even hierarchies between the prisoners themselves, with the new inmates being the lowest of them all pretty much. But almost immediately afterwards we get a switch for what I think could be best described as a kinda specific junior high school sexual humor. And this just drives you away from getting invested into the serious bits that follow, because the vast majority of the common route consists of, using or this humor without really driving the plot forward at all. The visual novel kinda stalls for 10 hours in this, and it's like 5 different things at most with just like variations, and it overstays its welcome by tenfold, in my opinion. Then when the story starts to pick up during the characters, it's like too little too late, and I didn't really manage to get invested into it at all. Key manages to mix this. They have like this structure of having a humorous common route, and then as you start to gravitate toward one of the characters, shit hits the fan, and you get all this drama and suspense, and then an emotional grand resolution at the end. But Gruppo just doesn't know how to do it. As opposed to working as a symbiosis that kinda elevate each other, like over here, like the humor and the drama bring each other down. Like if you were to focus on one of them only, I think you would have a pretty good time, but they don't work together. So yeah, the story doesn't really work due to the constant stream of junior high humor, and the characters are just your basic anime trope characters. There's really nothing special about them at all, and this is something that I have started to have a bone with more and more, as time has gone on. I've started to gravitate more and more towards traditional literature, because when you're reading Franz Kafka's Castle, or Murakami, or Tainted Lee, or really just most people who are in the business of making literature, they are trying to write human characters with like all their complexities and pasts and whatnot. But it feels like everything surrounding anime just resolves on these 10 different tropes, if even less or fewer, and just recycle them over and over and over again. The characters don't really feel human at all. I can kinda understand it on more short form media, animation and manga or light novels. I haven't really consumed those, but maybe in like these short form formats it makes more sense. But when we're talking about even longer or just as long works that traditional novels, there's more than enough time to develop characters and give them different sides and make them human. But very few do, and it's a big shame. I don't even want to believe that it's from the inability of the authors to write complex characters. I really don't want to believe that. I think it's just some deep-rooted norm that harms the medium really more than it benefits it. So yeah, the cast in Hentai Prison, like the vast majority of visual novels, really don't have more than 1 or 2 layers. They are really extremely thin. Extremely thin. So, mediocre cast, a story which doesn't just work. It's kinda having an existential crisis of not being able to choose between 2 different approaches, and it kind of just tries to blend them together, which doesn't work. And coupled with this just bad pacing overall, and you have Hentai Prison. I will say that production value is there, it's really quite solid, but production alone doesn't get you anywhere if the story and characters don't follow it. So yeah, it's a 4 out of 10 for me.